Hey y'all, it's Monday Teaching Philosophy, Wisdom from the Classroom Trenches. Now let's get ready to talk a little bit. I brought my notes so I can stay on track. Today we gonna talk about consistency versus inconsistency. And we want to talk about our classroom rules and routines. And I know I'm a big proponent in routines, especially after I read some of the research from Dr. Chris Emdin, who talks about the Pentecostal pedagogy, and it's more so about using the systems of the church in your classroom. And just like, think about going to church. If you go to a Catholic church, you know what prayers to stand on. You know what songs we kneel, when it's time to stand, when it's time to, go to the front, when it's time to do this, time to do that. Most any church, you have that same routine and ritual. And that's kind of the basis of Pentecostal pedagogy. Um, there's more involvement in it, but that's the basic short view of it. And so think about those rituals and routines in your class. And most students' brains need that over and over and over and over and over. Just think about how many times do you have to tell children, you know, sharpen your pencil, do this, do that. That's what you have to do because they need to have that routine and ritual in place. With me, when I teach my children art, because now I'm teaching music and art, I have to explain to them before we use glue sticks, boys and girls, let's practice it. Take your glue stick, pull the top off, twist it up just a little bit. 1, 2. Wipe it, twist it back down. 1, 2. Put the top on. I have to review that over and over and over. That's one of our classroom rituals and routines. Also, with markers, boys and girls, when we use markers, pop the top off, color with the marker, pop it on until you hear the snap. Then you can put it back. I have to review those things. So, in my class, when it comes to behavior and it comes to those affirmations, that's why I started doing my, what I call my 20-minute mental makeover. Now, when I was in the classroom teaching second grade, um, which was only a year, y'all. It wasn't no long time. I only taught it for a year. Then I went back to teaching music. But when I was in the classroom, I could take the whole 20 minutes and discuss about behaviors and talk about things like that. But now that I'm back in the music classroom, the content classroom, I only do like 5 minutes. I do the song or reading. And I have to show you guys my 20-minute mental makeover. I think I'll include it in this video. I'll take an old video and put it in this video. Okay. But the 20-minute mental makeover is just it's our, if you could think about going to church and at the beginning of the service, you got praise and worship or devotion or just a hymn. Then you got your readings, we do our choral readings or responsive reading, things like that. Then we do our prayers or whatever. And we just do it in a systematic order. And that's what being consistent, those children need consistency. And even when you feel like, oh, this is so boring, I don't want to do it again, the kids need it. There were times when I was like, okay, I don't want to do the reading today. I'll start with something else because, it does get monotonous to do it. And the kids said, well, Mr. Dim, we didn't even do our reading today. I feel like we didn't even have class. Now I done did all the fun activities with them and all kind of stuff with them. And they still said, Mr. Dimmy, we didn't do our reading, because they are so used and they need consistency. So one of those things that we learn as a teacher, especially a new teacher, keep your rituals and routine consistent. So that way, and like even with my second grade class, my rituals and routines were so consistent that when I rearranged every Monday, I would rearrange the room. The kids would walk in and be like, what in the world? Come find your seat and let's go. They, they find a seat, but we still kept our same rituals and routine. We did dictionary, what I used to call, I couldn't remember, but everybody had a dictionary, and we put our vocabulary words on the board, and I call out one word, and here they come. Whoever find it first got to go find it and come ring the bell. They run up there and ring the bell. And then whoever, if they read the definition first, then I think they get like a treat, something like that. Well, we had a good time. But that was our first thing we did. Then we went into our spelling words and doing things with our spelling. Well, spelling words and vocabulary words were the same thing. But we did that. Then there was time for writing. We shift our desk around anyway. When it's time for writing, I make everybody go to their own single space in the room. There was no group tables and things like that. So if I did have them in group tables, when it's writing time, they know to separate. And we were constantly moving our desk and things. Then right before lunch, we knew it was math facts time. We just pull out our little math facts flashcards, and some of them have the little basketball, some of them have the little baseball, the little squishy baseball, and half of the class was over there doing addition. This part was doing basketball. They over here doing subtraction, or when we were doing timetables and division, and we had a good time. So, but anyway, even though I would move my class around all the time, our rituals and routines were so consistent that it didn't stop us from learning, and it didn't change our behaviors. Also, there would be some times when we would get started working on something so hard, like when we do science and history, we would get started working so much that we forget about recess. We would work through special area, and then the special area teacher come knock on the door, Mr. Demi, y'all forgot to come. And I'm like, oh Lord, we done work. Can we come to the last? It'd be 10 minutes left, and they let us come. But I'm telling you, that is one thing you have to practice doing. If you can't do anything else, start your rituals and routines early and practice it, practice it, practice it. That's one of the things with my children. If we couldn't get it, oh, y'all seen how we walked in that hallway talking? Is that part of our routine? Is that what we do? Is that the best? So let's get our paper and pencil out, and let's do our what is it called? Looks like, sounds like, feels like. That chart. A Y chart. Lord have mercy. We get our Y chart out. Everybody, come on. Let's talk about what it looks like to walk in the hallway. Now let's write down what it sounds like to walk in the hallway. This is what we do. Now, what does it feel like to be in a quiet hallway? When you see, even if you see other people talking, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? That's what we did. Anytime they didn't follow one of my rituals or one of the routines, not just mine, but of our class, we always got to talk. So we need to write about it in our Y chart. looks like, sounds like, feels like. Then, after we write about it, we're going to have to practice it. Let's practice it. So that means if we have to miss recess to practice, because the children love recess. I think they need to do recess in middle school and high school and let them children calm out, have fun playing a little bit. Let somebody be out there, one of the PE teachers, so he can coach the basketball or baseball that way. Well, because sometimes older kids do be fighting about that baseball, basketball, all of that. But if they let them kids just have free play sometimes, I think they won't be so stressed out. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I done got off on a tangent. Keep your rituals and routines clear. Do think like I can share with you some of mine if you want. If you would love to hear, I would be glad to share with you some of my rituals and routines for in my classroom. Like normally, I put everything on the PowerPoint from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. That's what I would do. I teach from that PowerPoint, and sometimes within the PowerPoint, I put extra videos. So just in case I'm having some behavior problems, and I can say, boys and girls, let's stop what we're doing and watch this video for a few minutes. Just watch it. Or if it's a dance video, y'all do this dance video real quick while I go talk to this student, or go do this or do that. You got to give yourself a break here. Or I put a cloud video, and if my kids know anytime they see clouds, you are putting your head down or laying down. You are quiet. You are breathing slow. I have trained them so that they know anytime, no matter what we're doing, we could be in the middle of a math assessment. If that PowerPoint had them clouds on it, they just shut it down and go do what they do. They know what to do. And that's because our rituals and routines, and we are in the practice of doing things like that. I always believe in keeping strong rituals and routines. And those teachers who are the most successful, I feel, have the best ways of starting and continuing rituals and routines. Okay, I'm a hush now. I'm a hush. Okay, I just want to check and make sure I said all my notes. And I did put in my notes that kids need predictability. They do. They need to know that that's why when they on the schedule, even if the things are different in the schedule, they still need to know. That's why you teachers that be at the end of the year letting them kids just watch movies and do all of this carrying on. I want you to know, if you don't do better with keeping those kids on track at the end of the year, that's why you have so many behavior problems. Let me tell you, when I was teaching second grade, even on field day, it's Friday, y'all. I'm sorry, parents. Y'all sit over there we got to take our spelling test before we go do anything. Friday is spelling test day. And them kids, them parents talking about, oh, Mr. Jimmy don't play. I sure don't, because we have to stay on our routine, even though we are going to be off kilter because of field day, but we going to start with our spelling test. Then we going out for field day, run, play, have fun. Then when we come back in before lunch, we finna do math facts. Because that's what we always did. I kept that schedule the same. Okay, it's time for math facts. Now we can go have lunch and play. Parents, if you want to take them for lunch and bring them back, that's what you do. Da-da-da-da-da. Now we going to put a cloud after lunch, put them clouds on before we go back out. Do what you got to have a way of keeping your routine, even at the end of the year. Even if you just do some fun words to spell, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Do some fun words. But you got to be able to keep your routine. Okay? Rituals, routine. And remember, where the spirit of learning is, there is liberty.